Okay, so here are our chickens that we have. We have 4 of them, 2 of the same. I don't know what they are. I can't remember what they exactly are, but I will look it up. There's a video that we did that basically shows where we got them and what they are. I just added some new bedding on top of what they had, which is all newspaper. The food that we're giving them is basically starter food, which they recommended that we got them. Get this paper down. So at this point they're about 4 weeks old. However, this biggest one, which is called Mustang Sally. Now, of course, these were named by Noelle mostly and the kids. So the biggest one, which is right here, her name is Mustang Sally. The rest, I forget their names. And I forget the breed. Like I said, I will look that up. But these are the chickens. Now, some people will ask, what's the point? I've had people on Facebook, you know, the glorious Facebook, ask, what's the point of doing this? And my response was, well, duh, for eggs. You know, our neighbors have chickens. And actually, we have 2 neighbors that have chickens. Directly next to us, they have chickens. And then across the street and down one house, they also have chickens as well. Chickens are great for many different reasons, but mainly we're using the eggs. We're not going to use the meat or anything like that, I don't think. I had chickens when I was growing up. You may know I was on a farm, but basically we had chickens. We did not eat the eggs. I had them mainly as pets as a kid. So these are not going to necessarily be pets, but kinda, I guess. The eggs, when you break open an egg from the store, the yolk is very yellow, kind of like corn. When you have chickens that eat organically, which the food that I'm giving them is organic. That bag was very expensive. It's a small bag of feed and it was over $30. But their yolk is actually orange. It's supposed to be orange. So if you have a very yellowish egg color, which is what you're going to get out of the store, the eggs have, who knows what they fed the chickens and what type of chemicals and hormones and everything else that they've actually fed them. You can make a chicken produce more eggs over time by feeding them things that they shouldn't really have. So with these chickens, I mean, typically they will lay an egg every single day. That's normal. They may lay less. Depending upon the breed, they will determines a lot in terms of how they will actually lay. These chickens here will be very large, actually. Both breeds are going to produce very, very large birds themselves. So we have to plan the coop to make sure that it is capable of handling 4 large birds. Okay, when I say large, they're going to be very, very large. We have them in the bathtub, actually. And then, of course, we have this light, which is used to keep them warm. In the bathroom, it's not a small bathroom, but because there is a heat vent back here from our furnace, and with this light, it is fairly warm in this room. They have to have a pretty warm temperature as well in order to just do well. They don't actually have a lot of feathers at this point, but they're growing them in. Since we've had them, which has been over a week now, you're seeing a lot more, we're seeing a lot more feathers. They're also a lot bigger than what they were. Chickens grow extremely fast. So at this point, most of them are going to be a little over 4 weeks old. Excuse me, I'm still coming down over the cold here, or flu, or whatever we had. The biggest one, which is the brown one closest to the feed, and she's right there. She is probably a little bit older, we're thinking, since she's so much bigger. But yeah, that is pretty much the introduction to the chickens. It was a crazy weekend. If you guys remember, we went and got these chickens. We spent a lot of money because the store we went to is extremely expensive. I have since found a place called, I'm not going to mention the name, but it's a lot more affordable. And that's where we're going to go in the future to get feed. There's two other places that sell chickens here that are a little bit cheaper. So we're going to go that route if we were to buy additional birds. But that's pretty much it. That weekend also we got a cat. So his name is Oscar, and I will show you guys him next. Okay, so this is Oscar. He is just now getting familiar with, let's try to get better lighting here. That's Oscar. So Oscar comes from a family where they can no longer really keep him. He is about 8 years old, and he had two other cats that were living with him. Those cats were adopted out by two different families. The family that had him had younger kids, and they really enjoyed him. But unfortunately, one has severe asthma, so they have to get rid of all of the cats. So Oscar came here. He is not the oldest cat we have. Actually, Kitty Boy is older, but Oscar is getting adjusted. Now, he stayed upstairs for the longest, which is where he's going to go back to, I can tell. He stayed upstairs for probably the first week. He's been here 2 weeks now. So, let me stop and flip it. Oscar spent about a week and a half. I think my days are wrong. I have to check and see. We may have had him now for 2 weeks exactly. He spent the first week, and because today is Thursday, he spent all the way up until like Tuesday. So a week and some days upstairs. He would not leave upstairs for anything. He actually stayed in the closet in a corner for the first day or so. He came out from the closet, went basically under the girl's bed. They have bunk beds. He stayed there for probably a couple of days. Then after that, he started coming out every now and again, only upstairs when we were up there. And then he, just this week alone, I think the other day, he started coming down. We brought him down because we got tired of him being upstairs only. Brought him down. Of course, he growled at the other cats. The cats growled and hissed at him. But of course, the other cats, which we have 3 others, tend to not really have much of an issue with him. They tend to just kind of ignore him. But of course, if he growls and hisses at them, they're going to do the same thing back. So, so far, so good. And I know the question's going to be, if you have 4 cats, how do you keep them from attacking the birds? Well, remember I said they're in the bathroom for that specific reason. Well, for many reasons. One, to keep them warm because they're still very young, and it has been kind of cold here in Tacoma pretty much every day. This week is starting to see that shift and change where you're going to see warm temperatures in the 70s and things like that on a consistent basis. So things are changing, but we wanted to keep them in there for that reason, and also to protect them because obviously being out in a larger room, of course they're going to get attacked by the cats. So we didn't want to take that chance. Oscar doesn't have claws, neither does Kitty, but the 2 other cats we have, one of which is right there, Indy, who is only 3 years old, does have claws, and he is probably the strongest of the cats because he's younger and he has claws. His sister Lacey, which is, I guess you can say, a twin, I mean they're from the same litter, is also 3 years old, and she has all of her claws. Oscar only has his back claws, Kitty has no claws. So basically that is kind of the circumstance and situation. Before you go off on the whole no claw thing and that type of thing, or you shouldn't have birds or anything like that, respect people's own decisions. I've always believed in that. Again, I don't expect for you to agree with anything that we do. I don't agree with a lot of what people do anyway, or their choices or decisions or anything like that. But I still respect it. So respect that. Back when we had Kitty, he was Mr. Destructor. So that was 10 years ago. And so that was back when people did a lot of declawing. Nowadays, people don't declaw nearly as much, especially in places like Washington. It's looked at as a big no-no. So we didn't do that, especially when one of our cats ran away. She has been picked up by another family since then, and so she had no claws either. But we know that she's with another family that pretty much took her in. That's the rumor that people told us, so that's kind of what we go by. Anyhow, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show you guys kind of our furry family as well as our feathered family. We have blueprints up as far as what we're going to do as far as the chicken coop and how we're going to build that. We have to do that relatively quickly because, as you can see, these birds are growing very, very fast. So literally within the next few weeks, they're going to be actually outside, outdoors. So I'm going to really enjoy that. Having the bathroom back, not having to worry about, you know, if the door is closed, is going to be wonderful. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Of course, TGIF. So glad it... No, actually today's Thursday. So I still have another day. Anyway, forgot about that. It's been such a long week. Hope you guys enjoy your week and gear up for Friday. And enjoy your weekend when it does come. It's crazy. But anyway, that's it for me. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.